the employee since 2019. I lead the community marketing program, and I am excited to be here to speak a little bit more about why Remitly has a community marketing program, and talk a little bit about our role in making financial services more accessible to immigrants across the globe.
Why are you interested in connecting with immigrants and partnering with us to reach immigrant communities? Tell us a little bit more about your work in this space.
Yeah. So one of Remitly's core products is working with global money movements, so specifically remittances. And I believe that it's important for people to understand that remittances are not just about personal support. They are a major driver of local development, investment in small businesses, housing, and education in people's home countries. We want to make sure that we make our product that is a transparent, trusted product. In 2024, it was actually voted one of the most trusted products. So in financial services. And so we really want to make sure that the people that are using remittances as a lifeline for a lot of their communities back home are able to send as much money in a very convenient way and also in a trusted way, while also ensuring that the most amount of money makes it home. So we're consistently working and making sure our product is at the top of the line. And therefore, for us, it's a public good to make sure people know about us, right? And then they can make their decision about what products are more convenient for themselves. But we want to make sure that we are there in their minds when they're making that decision. What we have noticed is that it's not very easy to access and to let folks know that we exist in all the traditional ways. Immigrant communities are tight knit, they trust each other. There's a lot of adversity that is faced. And so, really working in building that trust by supporting the celebrations they care about, by supporting the community organizations that support them, by connecting with the leaders that are the thought makers in the space, we find that we're able to build an authentic connection with them. And so 6 years ago, we started this right before the pandemic, at a time where more than ever, these community organizations were able to provide critical support to communities. And we were able to really see that if we want to reach people where they are, the best people to tell us how to do that and to guide us are the community organizations setting the infrastructure of support up. So that's what we have been doing over the last 6 years.
Thank you. It's very exciting, and I'm super excited to partner with you this year and to have you. And it was great to kick off this partnership with yesterday's event at Fueling Immigrant Futures, Data Insights Democracy. Great to convene and celebrate 10 years of our existence at Generation1.ca, and to welcome community members and industry partners like you to really help support immigrant futures and to create gifting or staying connected to their communities back home, a more seamless experience. What else are you most looking forward to for the rest of this year as you're observing new trends and opportunities with our immigrant members?
Well, I think yesterday's event was extremely eye-opening regarding the amount of folks that are interested in understanding the experiences of newcomers in Canada. At Remitly, we are expanding our efforts in Canada in the community sense, but also in finding better ways of speaking to newcomer audiences across different media channels. And so it's really top of mind for us to really understand how we speak to the large population of newcomers that arrive in Canada every single day. To do this well, I think that it will be critical to partner with a lot of these research companies that are really making an effort into obtaining more information from the immigrant experience, the newcomer experience, and being careful about it, being empathetic about it, designing it for newcomers. Yesterday we talked a lot about what is an important gap that we are facing across industries, but I would even say in the financial industries particularly, we in Canada are a little behind in adopting new technologies that enable access, right? And I think that Remitly is an interesting solution. It's a solution that is designed for the global citizen. And so I think that insofar we are in the right spaces to speak to immigrants, I really believe that once they find out and understand about our offerings, um, it will be a no-brainer to become a Remitly customer. There's one quick little anecdote I want to bring up. Recently, I was speaking with Filipino business owners, small business owners, for example, about the new product Remitly has for small business owners. We noticed over the years that a very big need was, how do I pay people that are working for my small business in my home country? But my small business is the local to Canada, right? And so over time, we developed a product that was specifically designed for that small business owner, so they can continue paying in a very comfortable, transparent, safe way their employees back in the Philippines, for example. So it was just so incredible to see that there was this like very interesting and important need that they had that now was being met with a very good product that had a great fit for what they needed. So that's just an example of how we can innovate based on understanding about the newcomer experience.
Amazing. Thank you, Mary Grace. And I really love this approach you're taking of partnering with community and data and tech to have this really holistic, authentic understanding of the immigrant experience. And being a Generation .ca immigrant yourself, I'm sure you understand the criticality of meeting newcomers where they are and delivering an amazing, memorable experience for them. So big thank you for joining us yesterday and for the rest of this year as we get ready for our next upcoming initiatives together.
Yes, thank you, Arundati. I'm extremely excited about this, and I look forward to continuing to connect with newcomers in Canada and seeing how Remitly can continue to be of service.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. We're here with Leading by Association, a Generation1.ca podcast that brings together association and other leaders to share their insights, journey, and expertise with the goal of inspiring our membership. Today's clip is a special episode in the lead up to Generation1.ca's Fueling Immigrant Futures, Data Insights Democracy Dynamic Summit in collaboration with ESOMAR, our esteemed partners who will be also here with us, happening on August 7th in person at the Humber Polytechnic, where I also teach, and we'll have an exciting 1-hour panel discussion followed by a game and some exciting networking. So if you're not yet signed up, we do hope you join in. I have with us today an esteemed speaker who will be there at the event, Dr. Christopher Adams, and I will pass it on to him to introduce himself in a bit. He's the former Insight 250 SMR winner and longtime colleague and leader and polling commentator who you've probably read about and heard about widely if you follow the news media around polling. And very excited to get started. Welcome, Christopher. Excited to have you with us today.
Thanks, Arundati. I'm really happy to be part of Generation1.ca and to be collaborating with you on this upcoming conference on the 7th. And I'm looking forward to being in Toronto and being part of the conference. But what I will be speaking about will be regarding new Canadians, the multiculturalism of Canada, and how it relates for people like me who are political scientists. And so I'll be putting a sort of a political science bent on my presentation at the conference. I'm really looking at three questions which you've posed to me, and I've been doing some discerning on that. The first one is political science. How does that intersect with marketing research? And so if you're like me, I came out of Carleton University. I studied polling, survey research, and all that, and how it relates to voting and politics in Canada. In many ways, polling research or political polling, as we saw in the most recent election, polling is very much marketing research. That is the consumer surveys, what motivates people, what are their attitudes about certain products, about services. The same tools for understanding consumers and those seeking services are the same tools that we in political science are using when we do political party polling to look at not consumers or not business decision makers, but at we look at voters and what are the things that motivate voters. And so that includes, use of survey research, sampling techniques, the use of focus groups to test advertising, and also the use of statistics. So the first question you posed to me was really, how does political science and polling intersect with marketing research? Well, they are really the same tools. Second question you posed to me, which I found very interesting, was the segments in Canada. What are the parts of Canada? Like, are we just a homogeneous society, or are there differences within our society? And as everybody in the audience knows, we have a lot of new Canadians. We have different ethnic groups. We have people of different religious backgrounds. And in Canada, we've had quite a large number of people over the past many decades coming into Canada. And for us political scientists, we don't just look at European descendants, but also people from different countries. In particular, there are parts of Canada, such as British Columbia, where we have people from Asia who make large neighborhoods, and you cannot run in politics without being attentive to them. The same thing in my hometown of Winnipeg, Manitoba. We have a very large Filipino community, and a politician needs to be very conscious of the Filipino community. And there are different communities across Canada and different regional segments. So we as political scientists, study the population in terms of segmentation analysis. And the same thing in marketing research. We do segmentation analysis of shoppers, of consumers. The same thing, if you look at the political parties that are well resourced and have good people in the back rooms, the parties are very much involved with segmenting the population. One of them was Tom Flanagan with Stephen Harper when he was prime minister. Another one is Patrick Muttard, also was with Stephen Harper in a successful majority victory in 2011. That is looking at the consumer population, but in this case, voters, and seeing how these segments are different targets for the parties, and some are not worth following and others are. So when we look at the last election, 2025, you would have seen Prime Minister Carney going after specific ethnic groups because he knew those were swing seats. So the third question you posed to me, what about turnout? Is there something we should be thinking about for a turnout as it relates to multiculturalism in Canada, and also in terms of new Canadians? Now, Elections Canada, they've done research on this, and new Canadians, that is what they call immigrant electors, new Canadians who now have the right to vote over the past 10 years, they have a lower turnout, but not drastically lower. It's just but in terms of percentages, differences between the general population and new Canadians. So political parties should not be ignoring the new Canadians who now have the right to vote. You look at some of these ridings in Canada, and you can see that the new Canadians would be significantly sizable to swing a seat. One seat I was looking at was Eglinton Lakeside. Eglinton St. Lawrence in Toronto. And you look at the difference between the Liberals, their victory was only a few thousand votes different, but you look at certain populations of new Canadians in that riding, you can see that they would have had a big impact on the outcome. And that's not just Eglinton St. Lawrence. There are other ridings across Canada where even if the population has a slightly lower turnout than the general population, still that can have a big influence. So political scientists, pollsters, political parties, all of these folks are very attentive to new Canadians and cultural diversity in Canada. So that's what I'll be talking about.
Our various supporting partners. One of our panelists for this week's event includes Lisa Covens, who I've had the honor of working with before when I chaired a similar conference last year for Insights Association. With nearly 25 years in marketing research, Lisa has led Leger's communications and public relations practice in Central Canada since 2003, serving government, top PR agencies, and major corporations. A national CPRS board of director and a 2024 Outstanding Achievement Award recipient. She's the frequent spokesperson on reputation economic confidence and market research in times of crisis, and her team has spearheaded pivotal research on newcomers. And we're so honored to have her join us at this exciting Generation.ca showcase on immigrant voices in North America, and specifically with a spotlight on Canada. Lisa, a very warm welcome here to this episode and to this event.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here today. And yes, it was a pleasure to work with you last year on a similar conference. So great.
In your opinion, how do newcomers to Canada perceive their customer experience here?
Yeah, so at LBA, we've done several studies on newcomers where we are evolving our insights and always adding to them. And so in the past, our past iteration of our newcomer study really focused on retail and grocery and beauty. And while most newcomers are adapting quite well, there are some clear gaps in customer experience that brands and retailers alike should address. 31% of newcomers say that their immigrant status makes it harder to get good customer service. So definitely a point where that could be improved upon. But on the positive side, 65% feel that retailers help them to adapt to Canadian culture, which shows a potential for a stronger relationships when efforts are made. So while there's progress, there's also a bit of work to be done.
So what trends do you see in brand loyalty or churn among Canada's newcomers?
Yeah, so newcomers are open to switching brands, like many Canadians. And like many Canadians, loyalty rewards is a big influencer for consideration of switching brands or openness to switching brands. There is a huge opportunity to build loyalty by designing programs that are accessible, rewarding, and loyalty is also social. So many newcomers to Canada are influenced by recommendations by the people in their community or their social network or word of mouth overall. So if the word gets out that a retailer is serving their community better, then that will influence their decision to potentially switch.
What strategies would you say can grocery stores or beauty retailers use to increase their memorability with Canada's newcomers?
Yeah, so the easiest one, or well, my perception of the low-hanging fruit is to find culturally specific or to stock culturally specific grocery items and beauty products that match skin tone and needs, and really localize that inventory in neighborhoods where communities are living. Acknowledge cultural holidays. 3 and 4 newcomers come to Canada and still really value their own ethnic and cultural holidays. So for retailers to acknowledge and recognize those holidays, that's going to build loyalty and engagement. And as well, community ambassadors, social media, localized activations is all going to resonate with this important group.
Thank you, Lisa. So what are you most excited about at the August 7th event, Fueling Immigrant Futures, Data Insights, Democracy with Generation.ca?
Yeah, so at LBA, like you mentioned at the beginning, I head up our newcomer study that we do a couple of times a year. So we've been digging into how newcomers are shaping what's mainstream, and from what people buy to how they vote to how they stay connected. So this is such an important conversation, and we're thrilled to bring fresh insights on how brands and institutions can better reflect and serve these growing communities. And as actually on my agenda this week as well, we're brainstorming some new topics for our next iteration of our newcomer study that will be out this fall. So I'm sort of interested to listen and learn and see where the gaps are in terms of what data would people like to dig into next, so that the timing is perfect. So
thank you so much, Lisa. Very excited to have you, and hope to see you and everyone, all your colleagues, friends, and everyone at the August 7th event. Hi. 10 years ago, Generation1.ca started with an urgent goal that every newcomer to North America, Canada, and US not just survives, but thrives. And today we're over 2,000 members, and that includes newcomers, immigrant newcomers themselves, but also their supporters, so corporate partners, organizations, industry allies, leaders. We're building a richer, more inclusive society together, and you are part of it. We're a movement driving settlement support, professional growth, community, and positive data-powered insights that create real actionable change, uplift communities, and empower immigrant voices to shape better products, services, experiences, and immigrant journeys. In a decade, we've turned vision into reality, action, and real positive change, with career fairs and case competitions that span the gamut of North America, serving our communities and individuals, whether they're talent or whether they're users and hirers of talent. We've created an initiative and led partnership programs and supports that close skill gaps, recognize international expertise, and connect talent to opportunity, achieving real outcomes like hiring, internship projects, business partnerships, and mentorship and recognition through our diverse programs and initiatives. Scholarships and upskilling initiatives are also ranking high among some of our services to newcomers based in Canada and US. We've disseminated over $50,000 in scholarships, as well as over 8,000 hours each year. Our global industry skill study has been very widely referenced across international and local stages, from Athens to Austin and closer home to the GTA. We've been influencing decision makers, influencing industries about how to innovate, hire, and serve diverse communities. From tech literacy to AI governance, we're also at the forefront because our immigrant communities are often from backgrounds where they are used to a certain level of tech fluency and tech savviness that is uncharacteristic of the environments they encounter when they move to US and Canada. We're making North America's landscape stronger, richer, and more powerful with more educated, more informed, more social immigrant talent. And behind every number, of course, is a human story. So the story could be of a first industry job, or of a first business pivot, or starting off a new business or opportunity, or something else, some other kind of recognition, award, or innovation. But all these give our immigrants the confidence to lead. And when community, data, and opportunity intersect, the impact is unlimited, and it's an acceleration of this integration journey happens, where immigrants feel more welcomed and more rewarded for all that they have invested in their new homes. And we're just getting started. The world is changing fast. Economies are shifting. Migration patterns are also twisting and turning. And the need for credible representative insights and data are going to only grow. And we hope that you will join communities and professional community organizations like us in understanding the rich landscapes and ambitions and values of our newcomers, because we're on a mission to really make the newcomer journey shorter, the opportunities bigger, brighter, and the sense of identity and belonging stronger. We prove this through our one truth, that if you invest in immigrant talent, you invest in society's future. And one of the most powerful ways to get involved with us is through our Future Ready Innovators Credential Program, the open access certification that equips newcomers and immigrants to fast track into the workforce with skills, networks, and the confidence to lead in the workplace and beyond. And the next decade is calling. Let's make it even more impactful together with you. Thank you.